Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition to H.J. Res. 45 and yield myself such time as they may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, 43 million Americans are eligible for President Biden's student loan relief. That's about 100,000 people on average in each of our districts. Nearly 26 million borrowers in congressional districts all over the country have already applied for relief, including 16 million who had already been approved for relief prior to litigation stopping the process. H.J. Res. 45 seeks to deny these borrowers the relief that they were promised. To be clear, the people who would be impacted are not the wealthy and well-connected. 90% of the relief will go to borrowers earning less than $75,000 a year, and you're not even eligible if you're making more than $125,000. That's in stark contrast to the Trump tax scam, where 80% of the benefits went to the top 1% in corporations. Top 1%, that's about $500,000. Moreover, my Republican colleagues refuse to acknowledge the serious questions that have been raised about how the resolution would actually be implemented. Because under the Congressional Review Act resolution, you don't pick and choose which parts of the rule you're overturning. You have to overturn the whole rule, including the pause in student payments and the deferral of interest. Now, how do you unpause a payment that you were supposed to make many months ago? And what's going to happen to all those interest payments that now have to be added back to those loans? And what happens to the credits that participants in the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program were promised during those months? Are the firefighters and teachers and police officers and other public servants who may have already had their loan forgiven based on those credits now back on the hook for additional payments? The reality is that H.J. Res. 45 would trigger a wave of delinquencies and defaults for most of our vulnerable borrowers. Intentionally or not, this resolution would create chaos for borrowers and their families, as well as loan servicers. And the Congressional Research Service has confirmed that this chaos would be triggered by the retroactive application of this rule. Now, Mr. Speaker, anyone in this country who wants to take advantage of the benefits of a college education should be able to do so, not just the wealthy few. And that's the way it used to be just several decades ago. The Pell Grant covered 80% of the cost of attending a state college. Now it's less than 30%. And states are paying a much lower portion of the cost of state colleges than they used to. This proposal does nothing to help students, so I strongly urge my colleagues to oppose the resolution, and I reserve the balance of my time.